Okay, so we're going back to here, and we are trying to find the ranking in our Excel spreadsheet in the stats page. Okay, and we're there. He's using this function. You can see that. So we don't know what this function does, but we remember that found string got what was in the active cell, which was we did a search for this phrase, and that became the active cell from here, and that is now stored in found string, and the found string is a string variable, so it's now string. And as I said before, it looks like there's what we call an automatic conversion, and I think I said that some programming languages don't allow you to do this, but Visual Basic for Applications VBA sometimes does. And as I said, it's considered a little bit sloppy, but it's also considered easier. Obviously easier. Okay, so let's look at this. I did a search for this function, and let's look at this one here, string manipulation. So this one they talk about several different functions for strings, but it might be useful to kind of put ours in perspective. So here is the one that we're interested in down here. But let's look at a few of these anyway, just so that you get an idea of how these work. So there's a len function like this, and this stands for length. So if you do len with this in it, it's going to give you a number. We say it's going to return a number, and it should return the number of characters in here. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11. So it gives us 11. And this one would be 22. I believe it includes the empty spaces. So this would be counted as a character. The length function can also return the number of digits or memory locations of a number that is stored on the computer. For example, well, we won't go into that. Okay, the right function, you can check that out yourself, but that's more like VB, not necessarily VBA. The right function. Right function extracts the right portion of a phrase. The format is this, where n is a number, is the starting position from the right of the phrase where the portion of the phrase is going to be extracted. So here, if we do 4, we starting from the right, how far back do we go? 1, 2, 3, 4, and so it extracts that. So we get that. Okay. The left function, I guess, does the same thing, but from the left. So here, we did 4. We get 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. The ltrim function trims the empty spaces. So, you know, these functions, you might use them if you're looking for something in a page, or in text, or wherever. These are called string functions, and it's obvious why. The ltrim function trims the empty spaces of the left portion of the phrase. The format is this. So what does that do? So suppose we had something like that. If we did left with 4, this would be 1 or 2 spaces. I can't tell. It looks like it's 2, but maybe it's 1, 2, 3. Maybe this would be it. So we would only get that. I'm sorry, that's wrong. But anyway, that's true if we did left. But here, ltrim, okay, I think this is a mistake actually. I don't think that it takes a second argument. I'm not sure. But, I'm sorry, not there. Sorry, here. I think this is a mistake for the ltrim. I don't think it takes a second argument. I'm not positive of that. But I think all it does is, from the left, it trims any white space or empty space from the string. So it cleans it up, so to speak. So we get that. And right trim trims it. So here, I'm not sure what the 4 is for. But anyway, I'm pretty sure you just can put it in with just this and leave out the 4, and it will do what we want. Okay, the trim function does it for both sides. Okay, so you put in this string, and you get this string out. Okay. Now remember, you can ask what is the we say what is the data type of what comes out of this function. It means, does a string come out of this function? Does a number, like an integer or a decimal number? That's a different data type. What is the output of this function? That's always an important question, and it's pretty obvious here that the trim function and these other ones, the output, except for the length function, the output is a string. The length function, the output was not a string, it was a number. Okay, the mid function. The mid function extracts a substring from the original phrase or string. It takes the following format. So, phrase, position, n, where position is the starting position of the phrase from which the extraction process will start, and n is the number of characters to be extracted. So, if we want to extract 6 characters, and we want to start at the third character. So, I guess it means after the third character, because it starts at U, right? So UAL. Okay, so one thing is you can't believe everything you read on the internet. So this is wrong, and it doesn't give you this, right? Because there's a space there. So it's counting. This S shouldn't be there, right? So in fact, I just tried it. By the way, I copied this, and put it in the code editor, and the code editor won't accept it. I mean, it doesn't like it. It's complaining. It doesn't like this form of quotation mark. I'll show you. So sometimes you get these kind of problems like this. Watch when I hit enter. Hit return. See, it complains, and it's not really clear what but it doesn't understand this quotation mark, or it's treating it somehow differently than what I want it to treat it as, which is a quotation mark. So I had to retype it like this. You can see there's a difference between that one and this one, right? So anyway, it doesn't like that. Anyway, I made a string variable, and then I set this to the string variable, and then I did message box, which will show a message box with the value of the string variable in it. Okay, now he said that we're going to get what? UAL, BAL, like that, right? But no, we shouldn't. We get this, I believe. So let's see. Run it up here. Is that what I said? S. It starts with S. Okay. So it does. It starts with the third character and goes 6. Okay, so make sure that that you understand these, and if you don't, test them to see that they're doing it just the way you expect, or figure out what they're actually doing is what I guess I should say. Okay, so anyway, but let's still go back to this. Hopefully it doesn't make too many mistakes. Okay, here's the in-string function. And they're showing 3 arguments. Actually, there are some optional arguments you can put in. And if you look up in string, I'll do it. So if you look that up, and if you look at Microsoft's documentation, sometimes if you're not used to reading it, sometimes you might not understand it, but let's just read it quickly. It's a function. It's a Visual Basic function. What's this say? It returns an integer. Okay, so this does not return a string. Okay, so that's the first thing we learn about it. Specifying the start position of the first occurrence of one string within another. So we're looking in one we're looking in where is it? Where'd it go? It's around here somewhere. Okay, so here it is. We're looking in this string, maybe for this hash mark, this pound symbol. Okay, so we're looking in one string for another string. So, returns an integer specifying where, in other words, the start position of the first occurrence of one string within another. And here is the code for this function. But so if you want to try and understand the code for it, but it's actually using another function, so it may not be that helpful. Parameters. So it has a one of the so parameters means the arguments. The difference between the word parameter and argument, by the way, is parameter talks about it's a kind of not just a subtle difference. Parameter talks about the definition of the function, and argument is when you actually put something in. So parameter is when you're talking about the definition, and you're talking about the things that go in it. And argument is when you're talking about the actual using the function and what you put in it. Okay, I don't know if that's very clear. Okay, so start is optional, so you don't have to have start. Numeric expression, so it takes 4 arguments, 1, 2, 3, 4, and some of them are optional, this one and this one, but this one is required. So this is the string expression being searched, and the second one is the string expression being sought. So what are we searching and what are we seeking? We're searching through this. Found string member contains the text of the active cell. And what are we seeking? We're seeking this. Okay? And he's only using those 2 arguments, right? He's not using the optional arguments, but what are the optional arguments? Numeric expression that sets the starting position for each search. If omitted, search begins at the first character position. So we have no reason to say, oh, we should start at the second position. So we, like, don't start with the A, start with the M and start searching, or don't start with the A or the M, start with the 7th character and start searching. And we don't have no reason. We just want to search from the beginning. So we don't. We would either put in 1 or just not put in anything, because it says if omitted, and you can omit it because it's optional. If omitted, the search begins at the first character position. So you could have written this as in string 1, comma, found string, like that, but you don't have to, because it will do that anyway if you don't put in the first argument like that. Okay, so now we understand what this function is doing, right? It's searching. Okay, and what else is this? Anything else? Okay. Well, anyway, you can look at this. You can even look at some of the examples. Search string string. Here's this. Anyway, you can test it. Here's in string. Okay. Okay, so you can look for documentation like this on the web. Okay, so now we've started. We studied a number of different string functions. So I'll stop here, and then we'll continue with what we have.